Everyone, and welcome back to the For Every Beautiful Body YouTube series. Today I'm joined by Rose. Rose Campbell is a publicist, author, nonprofit founder, and Mrs. Tennessee USA. She helps women share their stories, grow their platforms, and create impact through powerful media and purpose-driven visibility. As founder of Dying Inside, she advocates for survivors of trafficking and aged out foster youth. Hi, Rose. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's amazing to have you on. We're so excited to hear a little bit more about your journey and your story. So, first of all, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself? Elaborate on that short little blurb that I gave.
I'm a publicist. I help brands connect with influencers and TV, and I help influencers connect with brands. I do a lot of pageant PR, so a lot of queens who have recently won will reach out and we'll get them in media kits. We'll get them TV podcasts, get brands to connect with them. And then I also am a mom to six little ones. They're all under the age of 11, so that's always so fun. And then I am the founder of Dying Inside, which is the nonprofit. We currently have 30 survivors in our safe houses here in Texas. We're opening a center in Tennessee. And the nonprofit, I kind of like went into the nonprofit sector because I was human trafficked while in foster care. And so I kind of was like, okay, what can I do to help? And so Dying Inside was kind of like when they come to us, they really are feeling like there's no other resource for them. And so we help aged out foster youth, and then human trafficking survivors. And, the suicide rate for that is 84% for both. So our goal is really to try and help them feel like they're not dying inside, and to really, we help with the mental health, we help with animal therapy, we do art therapy, we even do gardening. We kind of do all of it. And then we're opening a zoo in Tennessee. And so the goal is maybe they can help with work, like, because work program, they don't really have a lot of work experience. So we help them build their resume and find what they're passionate about. So, we'll have lemurs and emus and all these crazy animals. And so the hope is that this will help give them just a little bit of a boost and confidence and just go out in the world. And hopefully the mental health part of it is so important. And so they do individual therapy 3 times a week and group therapy every day. It
Wow,
was me.
amazing. There's sounds
Yeah.
like your schedule is so busy, but you have found something that you're really passionate about because you've personally been through it. So helping
Hmm.
people that you potentially didn't have that help either is a really beautiful and powerful thing. So congratulations on everything you're doing. It's incredible and very inspiring. So you touched on the mental health side,
Yeah.
your non-for-profit. Can you share a little bit about your own mental health journey and kind of what triggered you to speak openly about it?
Yeah. So, being a foster child in itself is just really hard. Times, even at a very young age, that I self-harmed. And I was 6 years old and I was self-harming. And what if it was just to get out of a predatory situation or just didn't feel comfortable in my own body. And then going through the human trafficking aspect of it as well, I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated all of it. And so when I was finally, adopted, they really helped me get in that mindset of I needed to work on my mental health. And so if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. I guarantee you
Yeah.
I would be, yeah, wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So the mental health side of it is so important. And I just felt lonely, and I wrote a book about my journey, and that was very inspirational. And like mental health wise, it really helped me process what I'd been going through. I've done therapy, I've done all the things, and I still had a hard time. So then was like, well, I guess I'm going to talk to everybody about it. There's other people. I've already gone through it and I've started healing from it, because I feel like people, when you're going through it, people aren't as understanding. But when you've gone through it and you've started to heal from it, people are a little bit more understanding and they're more willing to help with that journey. It's weird, and I've talked to other survivors about it. It's like when you're going through it, people aren't as eager to reach out. But once you've started to heal, they're more eager to reach out. I don't know if it's a cultural thing in the USA or what, but once I started like talking about it with other people and other survivors, then I feel like I was able to process better, just getting it out there and listening to other people. And then I was like, okay, I've got to start this nonprofit. There's so many people that need our help. And so that was just kind
Yeah.
of how it happened.
No, that's beautiful. And you touched on a few things that kind of helped you. One, obviously, going into that adoption system and having those family figures as well there for you, and writing your book and potentially therapy, and now talking about it. But
Mm-hmm.
is there something in particular, like a pinpoint moment or a resource that when you were going through your own journey that really helped you throughout those low moments?
Um, so, being in foster care, I was told I wasn't good enough. I wasn't going to be adopted. I was an older child. I was told to hide that I was being abused. I was told that, at the age of as 6, the likelihood of me being adopted. So I think it was the point where I was actually adopted. But I was like, wait a second, maybe I am
Mm.
wanted. Maybe I don't have to carry my stuff in a trash bag anymore. Which was so weird. I was talking to my adopted mom about that the other day. She's like, do you remember that? I was like, yeah, of course I remember carrying my stuff in a trash bag. And she's like, we threw away everything that you came with. And I was like, really? I didn't realize that. And she's like, yeah, we threw all of it away. It was covered in like holes and it was dirty. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't even realize. Like I had a little box of, because my birth mom had like made a book and photos and she was an artist. So I think it was the point where I was actually adopted, and then I didn't even want to be adopted at that point because I was afraid they were just going to give me away. So I think it was like more in like maybe 3 years down the road from being after I was adopted that I was like, wait a second, they're kind of stuck with me. They can't just give me back. And so that was when I started going, okay, maybe I am wanted. Maybe I do like myself. Like, and then my foster mom had me like write down every day what I liked about myself, which was a big thing. It was like the first thing was like, I think I liked my hair, but then the next day I was like, my hair looks like bird poop. Like, so it was like so hard to find things. And so I try to instill that with my survivors and even my own daughters and son. I want you to write down at least one thing every day that you like about yourself. And it's hard. Like right now, I'm like, man, what do I like about myself? There's so much, like, even in our culture, there's body um oh gosh, what's the word? We don't like our bodies, we don't like our hair, we don't like our nails, so it's like every day try and write one thing down that you like about yourself.
I love that. Yeah. I really resonate with that every single time I'm journaling of a morning because that really helps me stay grounded. I always write down either 3 things I love about myself or 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I can totally relate that it is actually really hard to find things every single day to write, but it definitely reminds us and keeps us grounded as well.
Yeah.
So I really love that you mentioned that. Now, is there any kind of piece of advice that you would give to either your survivors, somebody going through your situation, somebody going through their own mental health journey in general? Is there something that you would have wanted to hear as a piece of advice?
I think it's that you're enough and that it's okay to talk about what you're going through and it's okay to reach out to people. And what's, it's okay to also hear no. I think a big part of people, they don't want to hear no and they're so scared. It's like the worst thing that can happen is no, and you need to go find someone else to talk to, or maybe that friend isn't willing to talk to you about what you're going through. So just finding someone and not giving up. It would be my advice.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely super powerful. Just short and sweet, but it definitely
Mm-hmm.
does make a world of difference sometimes.
It
So,
really does.
yeah, being a publicist and in the media and part of that space all the time, do you think that social media kind of affects the way that we view ourselves and our mental well-being? Do you have kind of what are the positive aspects that you find in it, but also the negative things that we might need to not necessarily avoid, but be aware of?
I feel like this is a tough one because especially with me being in publicity and like the influencer world, I personally make a lot of money off of social media. So it's really hard to stay off of social media. But I tell everybody, don't look at other people's content. Especially like if you're in pageantry, don't go and like stalk your competitors. And that's like a big thing. It's like, oh, my competitor's doing this. And I was talking to one of my pageant queens yesterday, and like she competes in 3 weeks. I'm like, stop looking at them. Like, you don't know. She's like, but their social media is so great. And mine's not. And I'm like, stop. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. A lot of the pageants these days, unless they're like a newer pageant, like the Mrs. World pageant, Mrs. American pageant, they don't look at your social media. The owners are old, okay? No one's looking at your social media. But like for my pageant, they do look at the social media. So it's just kind of hard. So it's like just don't look at competitors. Just don't. Don't stop comparing yourself, which is again really hard. It's really hard not to compare yourself. But then that's when you circle back to writing things down about yourself that you love and remembering like, oh yeah, I do love this about myself. And you don't know their story, and their story might be, you know, something that you can relate to. So I always, try and collaborate with other people, even if you think that they're your competitor. But social media can be very beneficial. It can help you with one income, spreading your awareness, but it also, if you don't have the right mindset, take a break. It's okay to take a break. Um, but yeah, don't look at your competitors. Don't, like, even if you aren't in pageantry, don't look at other beauty influencers. Don't look at, like, I have another, like, a brand that is a pajama company, and she looks at other pajama companies. And I'm like, stop looking. Like, don't. It's gonna hurt your feelings. So just go off of what your fans or your customers are saying and improve from there. Don't look at your competitors. Stop comparing yourself, which again is so hard. It's human nature. But just circle back to those points that you're writing down about yourself, and try again.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that. And it's something that as keep coming back to, everything is so hard. Like it is really instilled in us as our human nature, but it's creating those daily little habits like writing that one thing down that you like about yourself that will really make the difference in the end. So I love how they intertwined. That was great. Um, so kind of for our last little segment today, can you describe what self-worth means to you now after going through your own personal journey, working with lots of people that are going through theirs, and in every different aspect of your life, and how has your relationship with it changed over time?
Self-worth is very important. I still struggle.
Mm.
I mean, I still struggle, and I always, I with my survivors, I talk to them a lot about self-worth. Like, you're not in the same situation you were in. Remember, like, you are so much better, but again, it's so hard. Um, Self-worth, I think, is going to come from just practice. And I know that sounds silly, but again, it comes back to the journaling. It comes back to self-care. I think especially for moms, it's hard to or even entrepreneurs, just people in general, to remember that self-care is so important. And I don't mean self-care like, oh, while the kids napped, I got to watch my favorite show. Okay. I mean, or like going to the grocery store by myself, which comes up a lot when I talk to people. people. They're like, oh, I got to go to the grocery store by myself. I'm like, that's not self-care. Like going on a walk, like I was talking to a client about it today, actually. She's like, self-care is so important for self-worth. In going on a walk, she likes to go on walks in Central Park, going to get an ice cream. It doesn't matter, like going to get my nails done. But doing things that you enjoy will help you with your self-worth, I feel like, at least for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, yeah, I love that. It's definitely, especially as you said, like for, you know, certain groups in particular, like mums and entrepreneurs and all these sorts of people that are so busy, to find actually time to sit back and reflect on what you want and how you can help yourself and your self-worth. Because I definitely relate to that when we're so busy doing so many things, and usually all of that time we're helping other people. It's hard to kind of step back and go, how can I help myself today, even if it's just for that small amount of time. So that was amazing. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so
Well,
much.
it's like the airplane.
Mm, yeah,
It's like the airplane, like you put the mask on yourself before helping others, but we often forget to do that.
yeah. No, definitely. I love that little analogy. It's so true. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Rose. It's been a pleasure talking
Yeah.
to you. But before we go, can you quickly tell all of our guests watching where we can find you?
Oh, yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Corralling the Campbells.
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
I will have all the links in the description and everything like that anyway, but thank you so much for jumping on.